uh, uh, uh.
Jeff chose to pivot on this line versus taking it all the way up into the upper range. So I'm going to play the line here and show you what the line would sound like if I took it all the way up to the top of the range and then resolved it. That was GV on the Con, sounding awesome. If you don't know Jeff Vidal, make sure you go check him out. Jeff's part of the team here at Positively Progressing. We got a lot more coming at you. Be on the lookout for that. But let's jump into line number 2 from the free PDF, 825 Lines to Inspire Creativity. Feel free to download it now. So I'll kind of tell you what I was thinking with this line and then point out a couple things to help your ears when you're transposing it into different keys. I started out with leaps. When I wrote this line, I thought, oh, I want to have like nice big leaps. So you'll notice some leaps here. Now this is a minor 6. You might want to get your ears accustomed to that. And this leap here is a tritone. Definitely get your ears accustomed to that sound, that tritone sound. Okay, so we're starting this on the 5. So that's an A, that's a low A. It was either keep stuff low or put stuff up an octave, which is never fun to read either. So we're going to just have one low note that's out of the saxophone range, but is in range with all the other instruments for the most part. So we start on the 5, which is A, right? And then we jump up to the 3. And then the next part here, this is just an enclosure, right? It's a diatonic enclosure to the 5 of G7. That D is the 5 of G7. Now remember, we have that tritone sound here. Now I'll tell you the colors that we're hitting here. So we are hitting, the flat 9, the flat 5, or we can call it a sharp 11. In this case, it's a flat 5 because it's D flat. And then we have the 7, right? But what does that spell, right? Let's check that out a little deeper. So we have an A flat, we have a D flat, and we have an F. Now if we were to rearrange this, right? Put a D flat here, an F, and an A flat, right? We have a D flat major triad. So this right here is actually a D flat major triad. And that's starting on the A flat. So that's in second inversion, right? So if we're starting on the 5th of a triad, it's second inversion. We have root inversion starting on the root, of course. We have first inversion starting on the 3rd, which in this case would have been the F if it started on the F, but it doesn't. If it starts on the 5th, it's going to be second inversion. Hey, so sometimes I listen back to these breakdowns and realize, oh, I should have mentioned that. So in this bar here, that D flat major triad is also the tritone sub to G7. So D flat is the tritone of G. Keep that in mind. That's why we're getting all those colors. Now check out this really nice half step, right? Half step resolution. Now that's a 7-3 resolution. So we're going from the 7 of G7 to the 3rd of C major. And notice that down here, real quick, going back to D to G, we also have a half step, voice leading happening. Half step voice leading, half step resolutions are the way to really create strong melodies. Can't express that enough. And I try to write these lines with a lot of half steps or whole steps leading to the next chord to really, really spell out the chord and for you to hear the changes really well. So then what are we doing here? We got the 3, obviously. We got the 1, the 5, and then we're doing something crazy, right? We're landing on the sharp 11 of a major chord, which is actually a great tension, right? If you land on the 4, if you landed on F natural, it wouldn't jive. But landing on the sharp 11 gives a little tension to the major chord, and then you resolve it. You could just land on it and then create your next melody or create your next thought idea. You'll see here that I'm actually trying to resolve it to the 5 eventually, which is over here. We're landing on that sharp 11. We're kind of giving it half a beat plus a 1/8 note triplet worth, and then we're going chromatically up to that 6, and then resolving to the 5. So it's ba da da dee da, right? Ba ba da dee da. I don't know if that's in the right key, but it's in some key, and the same thing that's on the page here. Don't have perfect pitch, not a singer. Okay, and that's the line. So what do you do with this now? Learn it by ear. Hopefully you're learning it by ear. You can totally use this to check and read it. The reason why we do this breakdown is to allow your transposition into other keys easier. It's not necessarily just, hey, let's learn all these 8 lines in C major, right? And then I have 8 new lines. No, you want to have, I mean, if you do all that, what's that? 12 for each line, 12 times 8, 96, I think that's right. So 96 lines you could have, and you probably won't use them in every key, but let's say you have a nice solid 40 pieces of language into new keys that you really feel comfortable playing, and you're hearing new sounds. Most important thing, your ears are getting better, right? Your ears are hearing language that you're going to use in your improvisation, and things will get easier, things will start clicking, and then you'll create your own language out of this language that you're reading on the page and you're hearing my voice talk over. That's it for this week. Line number 2. Hope you enjoyed. Go download the free PDF if you want it. We'll see you next week. Just remember, always positive, always progressing. Later.